Welcome to angle addition and relationships. We're going to start with the angle addition postulate, which states if point B is in the interior of angle AOC, we can actually label it. So this is angle AOC, and B is on the ray that is splitting the angle AOC. The postulate states that angle AOB plus angle BOC equals the whole angle AOC. So let's see this in action here in example 1. It's asking for the angle RST. We're told that angle WST is 50 and that the whole angle RSW is 125. So if angle RST plus angle TSW equals the whole angle RSW, we can actually fill in that information. Right? WST was 50, RSW was 125. We can subtract 50 from both sides and we find that angle RSW is 75 degrees. Another definition we need to know for this one is an angle bisector. It's a line segment array that splits an angle into two congruent angles. So here segment DB is bisecting angle ABC, meaning it's creating two congruent angles, angle ABD and angle CBD. So our example, AB bisects angle CAD, so I'm going to draw my angle CAD, and I'm going to draw a ray that cuts the angle in half, and a point on that on the interior is B. It tells us that CAB is 70, so if that one's 70, then so is DAB, and therefore the whole thing, CAD, is 140. Okay, because we knew they were congruent. A couple more definitions. We're going to get into the angle pairs at this point. So you have complementary angles. These are two angles who add up to 90. Each angle is the complement of each other, and that's how we're going to use it in a sentence. Complement of each other. Okay, so here's some complementary angles. We have adjacent ones on the left there. Notice that they create a box. They create 90 degrees. And then angle 3 and angle 4 are not adjacent. They're not touching, but they do add up to 90. Then you have supplementary angles. These are two angles whose sum is 180. They're the supplement of each other. So here you have adjacent, right? They create a straight line because 180 degrees. And then non-adjacent, these two just add up to 180. And finally, we get to that word we've been using, adjacent angles. And those are just two angles that share a common vertex and a side. Okay, they share a vertex and a side. They're pretty much touching each other, right? So our example of this is angle 1 and angle 2 are complements. If angle 1 is 68, well, we know that the angles add up to 90. And angle 1 is 68, so we can just subtract 68 from 90 and we get that angle 2 is 22 degrees. Example 4 is this time supplements. Angle 3 and 4 are supplements. Well, supplements add up to 180 because they're supplementary. Angle 4 is 56, and here we subtract 56 and we find that angle 3 is 124 degrees. A couple more definitions. We have a linear pair. These are two adjacent angles whose non-common sides are opposite rays. In other words, they form a straight line. And then vertical angles. These are two angles whose sides form two pairs of opposite rays. They're two lines that intersect. Here, so in the first example, angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair. In our second, for the vertical, 4 and 5 are vertical, 3 and 6 are vertical. Notice that they aren't adjacent, but they share a vertex. The linear pair postulate states that if two angles form a linear pair, then they're supplementary, right? They add up to 180. So our example of this is two angles form a linear pair. The measure of one of the angles is 5 times the measure of the other. Alright, so one angle is x, the other angle is 5x, and they add up to 180. Combine like terms, we get 6x, divide by 6, and we find that x is 30. Now it says find each measure of each angle. So one angle is 30 degrees, the other one is 5 times 30, which is 150. Okay. The vertical angle postulate states that vertical angles are congruent. So here, angle A is equal to angle B. To use that in an example, we have one of the angle pairs is 3x plus 1, the other one's 34. They're vertical angles, so you set them equal. Subtract 1, we get 33. Divide by 3, and we get x is 11. And it just said find x, so we are done. Good luck on the practice and the application.